Hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Set Schedules Meet the Agent podcast. My name is Yvonne and I am a member of the media and content team here at Set Schedule. And I'm excited to welcome you back to this series where I connect with real estate agents across the country just to gain some insight into the industry as well as get some strategies for success straight from the agents who do it best. Thank you for tuning in today. As always, if you have any feedback, we would love to hear it. Please send an email to media@setschedule.com. So today we are joined by Rafay Qamar. He is an expert agent based out of Chicago. Rafay, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. Doing great. How are you, Yvonne?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Just to start off this interview, could you give us a little background about your professional history as well as how you got into the real estate industry?
I am an immigrant. I moved to the U.S. when I was, I believe, 16. I was sometime way back now. Finished college here and started right off the bat in the banking industry, the financial sector. Worked my way up in retail banking, assisted with some mergers and acquisitions, worked for BMO Harris Bank, and in 2014, I resigned as top 1% banker in the entire United States. Jumped into real estate cold turkey, no prior experience or clientele or family, mentors, coaches, but just pure hustle, grit, learned everything on the streets and things have been good so far. We are now ranked, I believe, 27 out of 35,000 brokers in the entire state of Illinois. We started putting a team together back in 3 years ago, essentially 2018. And today we run a team that does annually about north of $100 million, about 16 team members.
Oh, awesome. What was it that made you want to transition into the real estate industry from banking?
Yeah, I've always been an entrepreneur. I just loved the idea of being in somewhat of control rather than having a corporate structure, negotiating my success, and just something that's a little bit more gratifying, being able to assist people with the biggest financial transaction of their lives, and also be part of the American dream and assist people in achieving their American dream. I think that's something that resonated very, very deeply with myself, and then now the team members that I have as well.
Okay. How did you find the transition from an organized, structured company into transitioning into real estate where you're essentially your own entrepreneur, you're your own boss, and it's up to you to keep the business going?
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I think, according to NAR, I think about 85% brokers quit business within the first 4 to 5 years. I think what kept me organized, and one thing that I brought in from the corporate America, was structure and discipline. You have to be very, very disciplined as an entrepreneur because you have no boss. You have no one telling you that, hey, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. and you got to put in the hours. I think structure, having discipline, and then obviously tracking everything. Those are some of the things that I would say have been incredibly instrumental in our success. Understanding what sort of production the team members are doing, personally what production I'm doing, what our goals are, tracking them on a weekly basis, daily basis, monthly basis, and quarterly basis. It's very critical. And I think I bring a lot of that from the banking industry, where they had quotas and goals, and each division was broken down into different branches, and each branch had their own goals, which rolled up into a market. So I think a few things that I picked up from there, I would say were discipline, having some sort of structure, organization, and then also tracking.
Okay, and I know that you mentioned earlier that you had transitioned into the real estate industry essentially cold turkey. What were some challenges that you had run into that you may not have expected?
And Ivan, you and I, we joked about this sort of $1 million listing. And that was, I think, first season or second season. I'm not quite sure. But I saw all these 20-year-old kids just in awesome, fancy, expensive suits, just making $1 million worth of commissions and whatnot. I think the reality is far from that. So not having that expectation definitely helps out. But I think to answer your question, I think it's the work ethic. I think it's a business that it's very lucrative. but at the same time, the barrier to entry is so low. I mean, it's $500, a few hours of training and post license and pre-license and whatnot. And I think you can potentially, earn more than a physician would earn. One of the top physicians could earn, who go to school for 7, 8, 9, 10 years and then have to do residency and whatnot. And not only that, but the pressure of dealing with someone's largest asset. In a lot of cases, a house, a tangible asset, is the only asset that they have. A lot of people don't have millions of dollars in their stock portfolios and this and that. Typically, their home is really what the most important thing is. So I think market knowledge, understanding that there's going to be a lot of work, understanding that there is no schedule. You have to create your own path and blueprint of success. I think all those things are critical, when you're becoming a broker and trying to help clients.
So when you are running your business, what are some kind of tools that you use to help you just keep track of everything and keep track of your progress and stay, I guess, on track?
We use a lot of tools. We're very tech savvy. I think I would say 95%, 99% of my team, they're millennials. They're under the age of 30. So that's kind of the demographic we kind of tapped into to help develop and build our team. So they're all very savvy. They've got their phones. Some of the apps that we use, we are huge on Slack, iMessage. Of course, we use a lot of Google Docs. We have CRMs that we are working with. We've got our brokerage CRM, and then we also have a company CRM that we use. We use Follow Boss. And a few other tools for communication. It's Facebook Workplace. We use that very regularly. And then also Zoom and Google Meet. Those are some of the tools that we use for communication. I think COVID, the silver lining was the fact that we all started sort of migrating to online and virtual meetings. I think that's been very, very helpful. It's allowed us to save a lot of time and just be present at multiple places essentially without any travel time and whatnot. So those are some of the tools that we use, and they've been pretty good to us.
Yeah, so the industry has definitely gone virtual in recent times. Are there any trends or, I guess, technology that has come forth within the last year that you think is going to stay even in a post-pandemic world?
From a broker perspective, I think, again, Zoom is one of those portals that, pre-COVID, we never really did any virtual calls, whether clients or coaching. Now, I think about 90% of our meetings, pre-meetings, are all virtual. They're all over Zoom, and that's something that we use pretty consistently. Some of the other technology and tools, I think, are Zaps, and you've got now other AI functionalities that integrate within Follow Boss. So we're using a bunch of different things. We're experimenting with a lot of different things, but I think just if you were to ask me one tool that in COVID that we've just 100% kind of used over and over again and will continue to use, I think it's virtual meetings to qualify clients, to make sure that we're not wasting our time, to make sure that we're coaching and being in contact with our team members constantly at all times. I think that's just an incredible tool. And I'm actually surprised that we weren't using it beforehand. I think that would have been an awesome competitive advantage even before COVID era.
Yeah, definitely. I think it would be so much, or I guess it would just be such an advantage to be able to work to your clients' convenience as well. So I know you mentioned that you have your own team of agents and sales people. What do you look for when you're hiring? Like, what are the key qualities that make up a good agent in your eyes?
Yeah, I think so. Every single team member that we bring on board, we do a DISC assessment on them. So if people aren't familiar, you can Google the DISC. There are 4 segments: the sort of dominance and kind of influencer, stabilizer, and conscientious. Those are buckets. So we try to figure out who would be a good fit for the team and what sort of the culture that we've created within our team, who would be a good partner, essentially. So that's one thing that we look at first to just eliminate the masses. We're not looking to just hire and bring in like 40, 50 people. The idea is to have, 15, 20 of the best people in the industry who are knowledgeable, who are enthusiastic, who are coachable, who are experts in their market, and then we sort of build the team around them. And as obviously they grow and show promise, then they have some leadership, positions that they assist us and then grow the markets even further. So definitely their characteristics, personality traits. We look for some sort of sales experience, whether that's, again, selling softwares or selling a car salesperson or saleswoman, salesman, some sort of ideally real estate experience, one year worth of sales experience, and then at least some record of prior sales. So we try not to bring on brand new agents. Now, I will tell you that in the past, like, I'd say 12 months, past 1 year, about 30-40% of the new hires were brand new agents. But again, they had some sort of prior sales experience where we thought it'd be a good mix, where they're bringing in a different set of skills, so that our group is becoming more versatile overall.
So I know that you mentioned that a majority of your team is made up of millennials. Is that a strategic hiring decision, or is this something that just happened naturally?
Longevity certainly is one of them, right? I think millennials, especially if they're not seasoned agents, I think they're a lot more coachable. So you can bring some people in, or these millennials or these newer agents, then we can kind of coach them and have them use systems that work for us as a team that we can track, and again, for reporting purposes. So we've noticed that a lot of them have been fairly coachable, and they're motivated. They're at a stage where they're trying to prove and again, have these audacious, aggressive goals. And when you're within a culture like our team, where everyone is enthusiastic about their goals and just very passionate about what they're doing, I think it's just very infectious. And, that kind of, we call it the energy bus. I think there's a book as well, where everyone is going in the same direction in the same energy bus. So you might have ups and downs, and real estate is certainly one of those careers where you have highs and lows, and the lows can get pretty bad. We've had days where we've lost $4, $5, $6 million worth of deals in one day, in 24 hours. But I think that's where we have each other to kind of support and sort of cheer on everyone. So that's again one reason. I think another reason is, as of right now, if you look at the stats, about 44% of the buying force or potential buyers out there, I should say, are millennials. And I think that number is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I think relatability is very important. In my opinion, people like themselves, right? People like to buy with friends. And Ryan Serhant, who we actually, great coach, he also talks about that, if you can be a friend, there's no reason why a consumer would go and find another broker. Now, you have to be a knowledgeable, professional friend as well. You can't just, there's certain codes and boundaries that we got to stay within. But yes, I do think that to mirror the biggest buying force out there, that's one of the reasons why we're targeting that demographic, because I think they can connect a lot better. These people want to text, these people want to email, these people want quick responses, instant gratification. I think a lot of our team members are fairly good at that.
It's interesting that you mentioned that a lot of clients like to buy with their friends. I've heard from other real estate agents that a lot of their sphere of influence aren't comfortable working with them in a professional manner, just because the home buying process is lengthy and it does require some personal information, some stuff about your financial situation, things of that nature. And so, clients may not feel comfortable with their friend knowing that about them. What is your take on that?
I think if you're not knowledgeable in the market and you're a friend, of course, that makes sense. I'm not going to hire a financial advisor who's a friend but doesn't know what he's doing. But if you're the best in the business, if you're ranked in the top 1%, I mean, our team does quite a bit of business. We sell anywhere from 300, 400 houses. We're going to sell about 400 houses this year. There's no reason why a friend won't trust me if I have a proven track record. So I think there's a little distinguished sort of fine line there. Yes, I do want to work with friends, or consumers would want to work with their friends if they're the best at what they do. So it's good friend of mine, Chase Green, says top of mind, tip of tongue. If that's the case, you're always in front of them, but they also know that you're the best in the business, and there's no reason they would go anywhere else. That's just my take. Maybe people are not comfortable. I've not had that experience. Also, I don't try to get overly involved in their financial information. I mean, they need to speak with a lender. I'll connect them separately. I'll refer my loan officers or my preferred vendors or whatnot, and they can have all the personal discussion they want to have with those people. I don't need to know that. I don't care to know how much my friends make if they're not comfortable telling me. But what I do care is that they're going to come to me because I'm the best in the business.
Yeah, so it sounds like having a mentor could be a very valuable asset to a real estate agent. In a similar vein, is there any advice that you would give to new real estate agents, or maybe is there something that you wish you had known before you started in the industry?
Yeah, no, I think coaching, I mean, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, everyone had a coach. I mean, coaching is very important. You got to find the right coach. It's got to be a good fit. I'm not going to try to sell 150 million or $200 million and try to find a coach that hasn't done any sale in their lives. So I think as long as you have someone who you jive with and they have also some sort of track record of coaching people at our level or greater, I think that's exactly what I think you should go for. I think finding coach is very important. I think they keep you accountable. I think they keep you on your toes at all times, and if they're in sync with your vision and they can buy in that vision, then I think it's there's nothing like that. The coach that we use, he's a phenomenal coach. He's a good friend of ours. His name is Dale Archekin. He's the owner of Inside Smart Sales. Just a fantastic guy. He ran his own ISA division and took the team from, I don't know what they were doing, all the way up to like $250 million worth of sales based on running their ISA division. So and for people who don't know what ISA is, Inside Sales Associates. So he was running their sort of outbound telemarketing or outbound call centers, and does a really good job. So my team has a coaching call with him every single week, Tuesday, 12 to 1. And he coaches, he listens to our calls. He tells us what we could have done differently. If there's any obstacles or roadblocks, he tells us how to get around them. So I think there's quite a bit of value in that. And there are different types of coaches. There are coaches that'll like Dale, who will break it down in terms of sales. There are coaches who kind of help you with overall business development. There are coaches who personally coach you on finding your why, I guess, and the vision and your mission in life. So yeah, I think coaches are certainly something to consider.
Yeah. So kind of in the similar baseline of helping new agents find a mentor, do you have any advice that you would give a newer agent, or maybe something that you wish you had known before you started in this industry?
Come up with a plan first. Understand what the vision is and what you want to do. And if you can't come up with that, then again, then hire a coach, I guess, and figure out your weaknesses. If the weaknesses are structure or the weaknesses are conversion or whatever that is, and then find a specific type of coach that can assist with that. If you feel like you're just stagnant at a level and you're not sort of going up sort of the next milestone here, then I think it might be a time to kind of see what people can, or hire a coach who can kind of like overlook the entire sort of structure that you have from a 40,000 foot overview, and then give you some ideas that, okay, you know what, maybe we're doing this differently. Maybe like try to figure this out. Because keep in mind, a good coach has probably coached a lot of different people, different businesses. They've probably seen a lot of success within their sort of clientele. So I think, yes, interview them, have a one-on-one session with them. I think a lot of coaches do one-on-one 45 minutes to an hour at no cost to better understand who you are, and then so that you could understand who they are as well. So I think check it out. I mean, it doesn't hurt to hire a coach. And again, for some reason, if it absolutely does not work out and it's not producing any results, then reevaluate.
Okay. Yeah, that's some really great advice. The real estate industry is pretty saturated, so I think it's a great call to just have someone to keep you accountable and really hold you to the higher standards.
One of the biggest reasons people fail is lack of accountability, lack of discipline, and lack of structure. So, certainly hiring the right coach can help identify that and really assist with all those buckets.
Okay, and I just want to pivot a little bit here and speak about your company in specific. Is there like a business philosophy that you guys go by, or is there a mantra that drives every interaction that you guys have?
I think the mantra would be, and I know this is like a lot of people like work-life balance and whatnot, but for our team, it's really eye open to eye shut. I mean, we work in grit, work ethic, collaboration, and I guess longevity. I mean, we're here to stay. We're probably not going to give up until we're the best in the business. And I think that is not going to happen by itself. And I think it's based on work ethic and grit. And like I said, our mantra is eye open to eye shut. Our clients can reach out to us at any time. We've got clients in different parts of the country. Collectively speak about 11 languages. Our team is pretty well diversified. And we've got calls coming in at midnight, at 1 a.m. in the morning, just because a different time shift somewhere else. So we have to be available for our clients at all times.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially when your business hours aren't, like you said, confined to normal working hours. So I think work-life integration really is the way to go at this point, especially with technology, and you're able to just have access to everyone at any given point. So as you guys grow as a company and, as you said, to be the best, what are some of the primary challenges that you guys are facing?
Well, I mean, you always have these threats, like these direct-to-consumer companies. There's Zillows and whatever. There's some brick company, Purple Bricks, or I don't know. But there are always going to be threats. But I think there's always a niche as well that these massive threats can tap into. So I think identifying your strengths, figuring out that niche, and then going after that all in. I think that's probably the key, in my opinion. Real estate agents, again, I've shared this with you, Yvonne, before as well. They're dime a dozen. Everyone is a real estate agent, literally everyone. I think just having some sort of strong value proposition, whether that's being the market expert, being providing the best client care out there, whatever that is, there's got to be some sort of X factor that I think is very important in this market because there's so many of us. And going back to it, just I think if you have identified a specific niche and you can capitalize on that, then I think all these threats would just not really matter in the long run.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, there's a dime a dozen. There are so many real estate agents in the market right now. Like, what is your main motivator to stay in this industry?
I think for us, it's really just helping as many people as we can, touching as many lives as we can. That truly is the motivator. Sure, there's a little bit of ego that says that, yes, we want to be the number one agents in the entire state of Illinois. And I know that's going to happen very soon, and then we want to sort of start branching out into sub-tier markets from there to tap into different markets. But I think if I was to kind of roll it all up and give you one reason why we do this, it's really to make a difference in people's lives. I think there are a lot of people that are not informed properly. I think there are a lot of people who work with wrong agents. I think they just find someone off Zillow or whatnot and are not advised properly. So just being able to provide as much knowledge so people can make the right decision, I think it's critical.
Yeah, so it really is just all about your relationship with your client. So we are wrapping up right now, so I just wanted to end on a really, hopefully a high note. What is the most creative thing you've done for a client, or your most exciting, bizarre experience as an agent?
Most creative thing I've done for a client? Wow. That is crazy. I know I had my first $1 million sale that took place. It was I think back in 2015, if I want to say, and I was really excited. It was a house in Oak Park. What I did was the day before closing, and I got listing agent's permission, I went there and I wrapped the entire house in red ribbon, and I had a welcome sign, and then I sent a limousine to their house so that they could be chauffeured from their house to the closing. And then we had like champagne and stuff like that to celebrate that. That's probably the craziest thing I've done, where I actually just personally like grabbed like a bunch of ribbons and stuff and then wrapped the entire house. Cheesy, I guess, but I thought it was pretty special for them.
Okay, awesome. Well, since we are wrapping up, is there anything that you would like to say to any agents who might be listening in?
Yeah, no, I would just say keep at it. I know there are ups and downs, and just again, it's survival of the fittest, I guess, at the end of the day. And again, it's an awesome business. It just has to be done the right way. And keep your eye on the prize, which is not the commission check, but really, being the realtor for life for someone. so that they trust you and they keep coming back to you. And that's really, really good feeling when someone calls me and they're like, hey, fifth property you want to sell and buy, and we're of course not going to go anywhere else. So come check it out and give us the comps. I think that's probably one of the best calls that you can get. And if you're planning on growing your team or whatever that is, make sure that there's some sort of value proposition as well for team members, whether that's coaching or lead generation or accountability. In our case, Set Schedule, they're good friends with the team. They've looked out for us. Had a good amount of success. So check them out as well. A lot of clientele, or brokers, I should say, that have been able to join our team is because we offer leads and free leads to them. So I think those things are probably my key takeaways, or I don't know, stuff that I want to share.
Well, thank you so much, Rafay, for being here. This has been such an insightful conversation, and I'm glad that we got the chance to connect. And as for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you would like more content like this, please go ahead and check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/setschedule. And you can always connect with us on social media. Our handle is @setschedule across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And as always, we would love to hear your feedback or suggestions. So please do send an email to media@setschedule.com. But that's all for today. Thank you for listening.